at the end of the day, as HFC professionals, as facilities rock stars, as facilities people, we want to treat our people first. They're our priority. Then we can make our products, and we can make money at secondary, right?
This is Facility Rockstars, the podcast that celebrates the unsung heroes of our daily lives, facility professionals. I'm your host, Jay Culbert. Join me as we honor these great leaders, sharing stories, insights, and expertise that empower us all to learn and grow together. Facility Rockstars is sponsored by Colutus, operating the way you operate in order to make your life easier. Welcome back to Facility Rockstars. I'm your host, Jay Culbert. In today's episode, we're joined by two leaders bringing complementary expertise from across the health, safety, and medical industries. First, we have someone with a 15-plus year career spanning medical device sales, marketing, and strategic growth. He has worked with everyone from startups to Fortune 500 companies. He's helped scale major clinical brands like TheraBand and Stop Pain and continues to guide organizations towards profitable, sustainable growth. We're also joined by a returning guest who has over 2 decades of experience. He leads HSC initiatives across multiple sites while also contributing to major projects in the workforce planning, capital investments, crisis management, and more. I'm thrilled to welcome Paul Timko to the show and just as excited to have Joe Gilliland back with us. Let's dive in, guys.
Thanks, Jay. Thanks for the introduction. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you for investing your time with us. And Joe, thank you for being a 3-time guest.
I appreciate it, Jay. And hopefully this topic is a topic that many HSC professionals have not thought about. And that's kind of what leads me into to be in this discussion with you guys today is, like you said, I've been doing this for 27 years. And the topic we're talking about today, I only learned about 6 months ago. So we'll dive into this a little more, but it definitely opened my eyes and we'll go from there.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. And, credit to you, Joe, for giving this thought to it and saying, now we're with Paul and this might be something educational. And this is an educational piece of the show, right? So it won't be as long as our typical episodes, but we hope everybody enjoys and gets benefit from the content here. I guess, so diving right in. So Joe, after learning, more on the topic of topical pain relief in the workplace from Paul, what's been your biggest takeaway from that?
Thanks. I think for me, it's you can teach an old dog new tricks, right? So I talked about 27 years, hadn't used any of these products or really hadn't thought of them as a tool in the toolbox for an HSC professional. Typical injuries when someone has a musculoskeletal disorder injury or an impact injury, traditional ways of treatment were to give the person some Advil or Tylenol or an oral pain reliever, put ice on that muscle, and then have them take that time out for a couple hours before coming back to work. And really, what opened my eyes, we did a little trial at some of the locations and utilizing some of Paul's, the products that he represents, and really started to see that we could have the person get care to that person immediately. They can put this topical pain ointment onto their skin, onto their area that's causing them pain, and they can go back to work right away. And then it doesn't stop there. The medical clinics have used these products for years and years and years. And then the aftercare when the person's home, it's something they can put on and treat that same injury for the long term. So for me, it's something that's the whole cycle. It's a product that, gives a treatment that may have not been available to the person prior to them. It helps us as HSE professionals. And always thought these products as having a stigma with them that by putting a cream on or something like that, they're masking the pain and it could make it worse. And that's not the case. And we've proven that. And Paul can go through some of the science of how they work and what they do. I was a person in a crowd that when Paul originally introduced himself to me, we had this conversation. I'm going, I don't want any of this. I don't like snake oil. I'm not a person that buys it on these theories and this crazy stuff. But as we started diving in and doing trials and looking at the clinical data and looking at the results, from products like this, and I personally using the product as well, I became a believer. And that's when, I reached out to you guys because if I've worked 27 years in this field and hadn't known of the benefits of this type of product and this family of products, I hadn't known that this tool existed, for the workplace and for treating our employees. Because at the end of the day, as HFC professionals, as facilities rock stars, as facilities people, we want to treat our people first. They're our priority. Then we can make our products and we can you know make money at secondary, right? But the people are our priority, and this is another tool that allows us to make them the priority, get them the care that they need, and to take care of them.
Very well said, Joe. And I think just to highlight a couple of things, you're talking about it reduces downtime and it actually treats people in a very rapid manner. And I don't want to sound off it's less invasive, but it's less disruptive.
Right.
So yeah, very very well said. And Paul, any more on that there? Maybe the stigma that Joe mentioned.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely, I guess, historically, there's been this stigma, whether it's um, about what topicals do and what they don't do, and just kind of and even some of the characteristics of topicals. Many people avoid them maybe because of a scent or they don't think they're strong enough to deal with pain. But I can tell you, there's a lot of science behind it. And when you look at most people will think, well, topicals will just numb something temporarily. But the beauty of the science is that topicals that use like a menthol as an active ingredient, first and foremost, they're FDA-regulated OTCs. So there's a lot of work that goes into the development, the formulation of these products in ultimately an FDA-regulated facility. And so the science, though, the fun part, and I promise this is only a little bit of science today. So we'll sneak this in here. So it has really a menthol topical has two mechanisms of action. First one is a local cryotherapy. So it's going to provide that relief in that particular area. But a cool thing about menthol is that it attaches to the pain receptors, the TRPM8 receptors, which are known as the menthol receptors, and it interrupts the pain. And so what we're trying to, it interrupts the pain signal. So for a period of time, they can reapply as needed. So with the stigma, what we're trying to do is educate people with the help of people like Joe, who's out there working with employees every day, is that, no, this thing is powerful. This is actually going to interrupt your pain signal and make your day more comfortable, get you back to work, and also just make your day ultimately and hopefully better. And so the science is really the fun part for me because of how long it's been there. But then when you layer in all the great innovation with topicals over the year, it's really an exciting product for the workplace.
We spoke just briefly before we went live, Paul, and it's amazing. I had no idea our bodies had menthol receptors, or it could actually, scientifically and medically interrupt the pain. That was so eye-opening for me.
Yeah, and it does it over time too. Like with some products out there or some kind of tools, your body will get used to it, but with menthol, it actually continues to work for many years. If people have to use a topical, day in, day out, menthol is going to be there for them regardless. And it's amazing what it does with the body and with those signals. It's a pretty cool technology.
Joe, I want to jump back to, and you mentioned it's all about the people, and in every episode you and I have done together, whether it was one-on-one with Matt Tuerty as a panel, you always bring it back to the people, right? And I think you lead and work with what, 10,000 people?
Correct. Yeah. So for me, we talked about downtime. We talked about the impact of the business. Number one, if the person can go into a first aid kit and grab this packet of cream and put on them and get right back to work, they're getting that treatment immediately. They're not having the downtime on the floor, but they're treating those symptoms immediately. As Paul talked about, if it's getting into those pain receptors, it's going to allow that inflammation to go down. It's going to allow the body to heal more naturally and get the person back to work faster. And that's really outside of the productivity. We want the person back healthy, right, and doing the job. And I think that that's something for me, and why I connected so much with Paul and the folks at his company, is because they're a people first company as well. So that's really built a partnership where we can utilize these products, like I said, that I did not know could be used in a workplace, and I didn't know what the benefits could be. And I'm starting to see a lot of good results, getting people back when you have these types of injuries, and 60-70% of them are back to work the next day. No pain, no further treatment. That's great, right? It's great results. The other thing is that it's an over-the-counter regulated topical, as Paul talked about, but they're not orals that could trigger an OSHA recordability either. So if someone's sitting there, some of these employees can go take 1,200 milligrams or 1,400 milligrams of a oral, and now it's OSHA recordable on their books and drives those injury rates up and everything as well. So there is an advantage from that standpoint as a safety and health manager, that these are products that treat the injury, treat the symptoms, and don't trigger that OSHA recordability as well. So that's another benefit to this type of treatment.
Yeah, that was also eye-opening when you mentioned that prior to going live. That's so, like, it's not a recordable. It's still treating the injury, yet it's not flagging anything. Interesting. So, Joe, you mentioned this being an untapped resource. I know you've touched on it already, but can you talk about that and how you've distributed it to, I believe, all of your locations already?
Yeah, so we have trials still going on, Jay. So I'm not the person that jumps into the deep end and throws everybody in and says this is like the answer. So we're doing some trials and getting data. I'm a very scientific based person, so I want to see data over a long period of time and see the benefits. We're seeing the benefits from these types of products already, so I'm confident that it's going to continue. For me, it's getting that initial care into those areas, and this is for the folks listening, the maintenance employees, and the people that are out on the floor. Who hasn't had a wrench slip off and hit their knuckle against something while they're working, right? If they can take a product like this and put it on the soft tissue of the back of their hand, get back to work and not have that pain or swelling in the hand, they're going to benefit. So this is a product that I see very useful in the maintenance environment, facilities environment, manufacturing environment. And it's just another tool in the toolbox. So we're not saying don't go get medical care, don't follow the normal processes that you would follow. That's not the message today. This is just to say, when you look as an HSE professional, a company owner, a facilities person, here's another tool in a toolbox that's available to treat employees and take care of them. And I think the biggest thing for me is I want to find, as an HSE professional, as many tools as I can to make people better and to prevent injuries and to make make their pain go away. So if this was another thing that works, you put it in the arsenal, and it's something that, like I said, I didn't know existed before 6 months ago, and it's one of those products now that I'm like, wow, I can't believe that I hadn't used this personally before in my lifetime, and didn't know the benefits of these types of things.
Hey, rock stars. If you're tuning into the podcast and are feeling overwhelmed by all the maintenance demands at your facility, don't stress. We've got you covered. Our sponsor, Colutis, is your go-to partner to help you tackle all those demands and get them done right, on time, and with top-notch quality. From project planning to execution, Colutis is there to make hard work easy. Visit colutis.com today to get started. The fact that you just said that again, Joe, is really just foundationally. That's why we're doing this show for everybody today, because when 27 years and, wow, now it's 6 months ago, you were alerted to this and it's such a benefit. So we said, let's bring it to the world. Let's bring it to a broader audience. Paul, what other areas have you seen an impact in, say, facilities, HSE? What else have you seen in your travels with, and throw out as much science as you want in there? It's interesting.
Yeah. So when you look at the history of kind of use of topicals, there is a clinical foundation, whether there's physical therapists, athletic trainers, occupational health. So there is this kind of built-in general kind of group of champions, I would say, that believe in it, understand the combination of obviously topicals with treatment and care and those types of things. But what we found about 2 years ago is this really change in the interest in alternatives, in safe and effective alternatives. So in workplace was really the one that kind of just knocked us, off our feet, because we didn't see it coming. We weren't really, even though we've always been around it and partnering with individuals like Joe, they actually found us. We had people reaching out to us more and more to say, hey, do you have gel packets? Do you have spray? And they were interested not just in the products, but in understanding the science of it, how they could use it in different areas. And it's really across the board in the workplace, like where Joe has mentioned, and he knows much better than I. I mean, that's been kind of I guess I would say the majority, but we're also finding interest in more proactive health and wellness to, provide access to employees. Kind of this time of year is a commonplace because of people of open enrollment for benefits and educating on topics of how to hit the new year and accomplish your New Year's resolutions and all that good stuff. Because as people start to move and exercise more, they have a little bit of soreness initially. And so there's really been this fun, couple of years for us where we've had so many individuals in different roles within the workplace reach out to us and ask us questions. And that, it's great. We love to obviously provide products, but what really I'm interested in is that they want to look at alternatives to opioids, to NSAIDs, to acetaminophen, and they just want to expand that toolbox with more options for every not just every individual, but also start to tailor it to every situation. So common conditions, common injuries, and also just making sure people are comfortable throughout the day. There's a lot of ergonomic related, injuries that we're hearing more and more. People on their computers, on their devices, a lot of tech neck, and that type of stuff. Anything that can help them be more comfortable and productive throughout the day. That's been our common theme for the last 2 years, and it's only increasing.
Mm. I like that. That's a great point you're making. Just comfort throughout the day. It doesn't have to be an injury. It doesn't have to be something that happened. It's just a comfort level without opioids, et cetera, et cetera. So
Yeah, absolutely. It's something, it could be something that's accumulative, that's residual, that's with them, that it's just the nature of maybe their work or work and life, that
mhm.
it just happens to flare up at a particular point throughout their workday. How do we get them back? How does Joe get them back to work, safely and quickly, but have that comfort continue on so they can obviously get introduced to a product that works for them, a solution, but make their day the best possible.
Outstanding. Joe, you mentioned it's also. I just want to point out again. It's FDA approved. It's an OTC that's actually FDA approved, and that's I think is a
Yes.
very important point.
Yeah,
Um,
so it's a licensed product. It's regulated by the FDA. It's manufactured in the same types of environments that we would manufacture our products in. So that gives me a lot more confidence. It is something that's clinically tested and approved and has gone through all the rigor. I think the other things, there's a lot of uses for this. We're talking the other shows. I've been a fireman for over 20 years. I've started, you go to a fire call and I'm using muscles. I'm getting older, right? And using muscles and having aches and pains after a fire call. I started using this stuff just to kind of treat the soreness that's going on after those calls, and it's been a big benefit. So I think there's a lot of industry folks that have tasks or jobs that don't happen every day, that maybe happen during this time of year during a shutdown, or that cause people to use muscle groups and things that they might not use all year round, and they're not conditioned for it. And these types of products help basically cool that discomfort and get them back to work and uh, make them be able to get through their shift or their day and not be in pain.
all huge upside, huge benefits. So, Paul, do you use anything other than these products in your daily life, or you just no more ibuprofen, no Tylenol in my home?
No, to be completely transparent, yeah, absolutely. There's a time and place, for, I'll take an oral medication when I need to, but what I've changed, and I've been doing this for 15 years. I've learned about topicals many years ago, so I don't want to say biased, but I'm aware. I was aware of the benefits and the importance of trying a topical before an oral medication, and that's what when we talk about general pain relief or even a migraine and headache, what I always tell, what I tell friends and family, if it was my kids, my wife, would always explain to them and say, let's try the topical first.
Mm.
Let's try, the topical. Let's put it on. Let's see how it goes. Come back to me, 30 minutes, an hour. Let's discuss it. And then the key thing is if we can avoid either maybe taking an oral medication altogether, or even reducing the amount, that is a huge benefit because of the known side effects associated with most oral medications. So that's really the approach I tell everybody is this is a good first step, and let's see how it goes. And really, I always tell people you gotta kind of feel it to believe it and experience it. But I can tell you based on 15 plus years of experience, it's amazing how effective topical pain relief can be, especially a menthol topical, at relieving kind of that general soreness, aches, pains, strains, those types of muscle pain, back pain. Very, very effective and obviously safe.
Outstanding. And the fact that Joe, you're at Sanofi, 10,000 people that you need to be there for, and you're a believer in this, and that's again why we wanted to talk about this on the show today. Guys, is there anything that you feel we may have missed that the audience could benefit from understanding? I'm trying to think of what questions would they have for us, right?
For me, Jay, it's this is not meant to be a sales pitch. So my direction isn't go out and buy truckloads of these products. My piece today is, guys, I've been doing this a long time. I didn't know it existed. Open your minds. It's another tool potentially in your toolbox. Reach out. We'll provide our contact information if questions, and we can help. But it's about giving solutions to common day problems and moving HSE culture forward and facilities culture forward, and not just doing we've always done in the past and expecting different results. Right? We have to introduce new treatment methods, new techniques, new programs. This is another tool for me. It's a new program, like I said, to try and to see if we can get some good results out of it. And I think it'll be a long-term success. I'm not a fortune teller. I don't have a magic ball in front of me, but the science is there. The product is there. It's a U.S. made product, which is another win for me. And I think that going on that, there's a lot of positives with it.
Outstanding. Paul, any like kind of closing thoughts, I guess? And we will share your information too, so people can reach out.
Yeah, absolutely. The one thing I'll mention is that even though the awareness is growing for topicals, there has been a tremendous amount of innovation over the last decade. And so for those listeners out there that may have tried a topical, or maybe their grandparents or parents tried it years ago or decades ago, try it again, because maybe you didn't use it or didn't want to use it because it was too greasy, or the scent was overwhelming, or something you didn't want to smell like all day, or just maybe it just didn't do the trick for you or for a relative. I can tell you so much has changed. There's many products that are not greasy anymore. They penetrate quickly, don't leave any residue on the skin. The scent will be a mild, pleasant, and then dissipate altogether. And then they're lasting longer, they're faster acting, better ingredients. And so they've come a long way. So I would encourage anybody to be proactive. Don't wait for a pain occurrence to happen. Get educated, try things out. They're very cost effective, very convenient access to them, whether it's in the workplace or anywhere. You can get them pretty much anywhere to try. So just get educated, bring them into the household. And then when your employees there at work, they have options. And Joe, I want to obviously thank him, and Jay, you as well, for helping us educate on this great option for pain relief.
Absolutely. Well, and so that's Paul, how could people get in touch with you then if they either just had general questions, if they wanted access to these products? How would they reach you?
We're a family business. We take pride in being available really 24/7. No joke. We love having these conversations and one-on-one conversations, so they can reach out to me by phone, email. Do you want me to do that right now? Is that?
Yeah, please do. And we'll put it in the show notes too. Yep.
Yeah. So the phone is 440-396-4361. And my email is ptimko@stoppain.clinical.com. And that's stop pain with 1 P.
Excellent. And Joe, this is your third round, my friend, but your contact info too, because those who may not have caught the other episodes, I'm sure they'll go back now, but how can people reach you? What's the best way?
Yeah, the best way for me is on LinkedIn. So if they will provide the LinkedIn profile, if they go on and just message me on LinkedIn, I'm pretty responsive on there. You should get back to people within 24 hours if they can. So that'd be the best way. And we can go through some of the notes and some of the trials and things that we've done. And, I think, to me, we didn't talk about it in this call, but this is a very cost-effective tool that works. And like I said, it's something else that I'm happy to have in the toolbox with the many tools that we have. Just having another solid choice and another thing we can go to, really, at the end of the day, helps make HSE better.
Excellent. Paul, Joe, thank you both again. Really appreciate you investing the time, sharing all this knowledge and the availability of these new technologies for everyone.
Great. Thanks, Jay.
Absolutely. Anytime. Thank you.
For everyone listening, I hope you did find this educational. Hopefully it's helpful for you some way in the future. Thank you for tuning in. Guys, thanks again. And this has been another great episode of Facility Rockstars. We'll see you next time. It's a wrap. Another episode of Facility Rockstars is in the books. Facility Rockstars is sponsored by Colutus, operating the way you operate in order to make your life easier. Until next time, facilitate, and rock on.